The recent development of many tools using artificial intelligence or AI storm the internet and got the attention of many people, including professionals, people who create content in the internet, schools, even religious institutions or organizations. And this technology has been in development for many years now, but it's getting to the hands of the general public with scary capabilities. For example, ChatGPT is the tool that got many people talking about it. And it is part of an ongoing conversation, such as in the arts, where AI is or was used to create art, and it generates some problems because it uses other people's uh, creation. So ChatGPT uses GPT-3 or Generative Transformer 3 that produces a human-like text after a prompt, but it brings challenges. You see, I had the experience of using ChatGPT, and I was astounded by its capabilities. But at the same time, I fear what it meant and the disruption that it could cause. Better said, that is already causing. The possibility of being replaced by a machine or not even understand what that technology means causes fear. What if the supervision of such technology gets into the wrong hands? Machiavellian things could happen, of course, but if it would be under the supervision of uh, people, decent people, or truthful people, then the opposite would also happen. Good things would happen because, after all, it is a tool. You see, when I was using ChatGPT, I asked the application to write an article on many subjects, including religion, and it did. And it did very well. It created the piece and responded to any additional instructions that I gave it. It could not only give references at that time, which I assume if things are going, it will be able to do it in a very near future. So you may already see the problem, right? Schools are concerned about students using this tool to write their papers. And let me tell you that I was a teacher assistant or a grad assistant at a university. And recently, I got an email that the teachers of that university would be discussing this same tool and the issues that it brings. On the other hand, and based on the same technology, the app Historical Figures introduces a conversation with people, particularly those who affected society, significantly in a conversational way. So Jesus is one of those figures that this app contains. I did not experiment with this app, and currently it is no longer available on Apple app stores to download it. But at the same time, it raises concerns because this app brings something a little bit more subtle for Christianity. And I base my reasoning on an article that was entitled "A Chatbot That Lets You Talk with Jesus and Hitler is the Latest Controversy in an AI Gold Rush." So, is Jesus, who is alive, as Christians believe, being replaced by the AI Jesus? What does it mean for Christianity and its potential dangers? Is there a paradigm change in how we interact with God, Jesus, and the Bible? Will it perpetuate a view of the world and Jesus without room for alternative interpretations? We hope with that to start a conversation on some of those questions. So, let's begin with the app that I mentioned, Historical Figures. and it was developed so you could converse with historical figures, including Jesus, of course. In other words, you could chat with Jesus and have an immediate reply as you talk with him. To be fair to the developer, he intended to use it for education. But some of those tools, some of those AI tools that provide this kind of interaction in a human language stated that the robot or the bot makes stuff up. So it would be best if you were an adult, so you would be aware of the dangers. At least the ones that I try or attempt to try, they stated upfront. So you're careful when you use it. So at times, these tools, as reported through many internet forums, are confidently wrong. Yes. So, and the historical figures raises concerns for me because of that. The first thing is that Jesus is more than a historical figure. According to the Christians, and I'm one of them, he is alive and we can chat with him through prayer, reading of the scriptures, and meditation, to mention a few. The Bible itself says in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 to 2 that God spoke in all times through the prophets, but nowadays through Jesus. And he is still speaking to us in whatever form he chooses to do it. And in reality, one could object that AI might be one of those means. You see, if it were Jesus to program and oversee how the robot or the bot would respond to every question asked, I would give up and agree. It would be, in a sense, as inspiration goes, and as far as I'm concerned, the same as to be a means it chooses to communicate with us. However, that is not the case. A judgment is made by the robot according to the program written. So, the subsequent question is then, could Jesus still reach someone through this means? It is possible, I wouldn't deny it, but it is not a reliable way for the already believer to engage Jesus, even for progressive Christians. And my use of progressive here is to distinguish between people that are more open to new paradigm from others who are more resistant to a new paradigm. So I would say it is not a reliable way to connect with Jesus, which could be an attempt by someone genuine in their approach. So, on the other hand, the assumption that those who program it is that Jesus was only a mere influential historical person and nothing more. At least that is my perception. I might be wrong on that, but it is how it appears. One might be screaming at me, no one is really attempting to connect with Jesus in a meaningful way through apps such as that. People are just only experiencing the novelty of what technology can do. Well, that's a reasonable point. However, my concern is valid. You see, it's not only about the app itself, is the concept behind it, and if or when people start using it as if any other digital scriptures, which it is not. While the digital scripture is passive, the former or the app is active, it personifies itself, and so interpretations of the text, right or wrong, for a conversation to happen, it is necessary. So to engage that making of stuff, making stuff up. So not only using the existing passive text. So my concern is, but one amongst others regarding the interactions with other figures, particularly in that app. AI Jesus brings problem or concerns in our understanding about all that Jesus means and who he is. Talking about him, the Bible states in Colossians 2 verses 8 to 10 that he is more than a human being, that the full deity dwells in him. He is divine. And in addition, he is alive as the gospel and the book of Acts tell us. And ascended to heavens and promised to come back, and also promised to be with his followers, always in a very real sense. And finally, he wants to have a relationship with his children, as for example, Revelation 3:20 tells us. So, the AI Jesus undermines all of that, all of what Jesus is and means for Christianity and to the world. For whatever it is worth, we are better off with the real Jesus.